Well, hello and welcome. My name is Chris Mahan. I'm a master business coach, marketing strategist, and published author. I want to welcome you to today's podcast and invite you to spend the next several minutes with me. I want to share a few fundamentals and principles that I believe can help any small business owner see dramatic and immediate increases in both their revenue and profits, no matter what type of business or industry you're in. My passion is working with small business owners. And I find that many are frustrated that their businesses aren't what they dreamed they would be when they first entered the world of entrepreneurship. When I speak with business owners, I often hear them lament their feelings of being overwhelmed with the mundane, day to day necessities of running a business. Add to that the frustration they feel of spending their hard earned dollars on marketing that isn't producing customer leads or attracting new clients. Now, if that describes you, then allow me to ask you this. How would you like a simple, proven, and tested strategy with which you could double your profits with little time, effort, or expense on your part? Better yet, what if you could discover a formula today that would create massive exponential growth for your business starting immediately? Now, if this sounds like something that's of interest to you, then grab something to take notes on and strap in because we're due for a wild ride here. For the next several minutes, I'm going to share some insights which will enable you to produce more customers and more revenue and do it consistently. Now, if you ask any small business owner what they need most in their business, often you get the very same two answers every time: more customers and more revenue. But here's the problem. What does it take to produce more customers and more revenue? And how can you do it consistently? So let's dive right in. I want to give you some cutting edge information you can use in your own business. Now, as I mentioned, the two top hot button issues that I constantly hear when speaking with small business owners are customers and revenue. So let me simplify this somewhat and focus first on customers. First, you must generate leads, and then you must convert those leads into customers. Now, by breaking down the end result into leads and conversions, you can now put together a strategic plan of action to attain that end result. As for revenue, once you generate leads and then convert those leads into clients, those clients will pay you a specific price for what you sell. And the price you charge should always be based on the value you provide. So price and value are the first two components in the revenue equation. But it doesn't stop there. You have expenses to pay, and those expenses come directly out of the revenue you just generated. So the next revenue component to consider is your margin. How much of that revenue do you actually get to put into your pocket? But unfortunately, you're still not done. If your customer only buys from you one time, you're right back where you started. Now you need to generate a new batch of leads and convert them into clients. And so it becomes a never-ending cycle. So what can you do about that? How can you change that situation? Let me ask you, what if you could compel your clients to increase the number of transactions they complete with you year after year? Instead of one and done, as we might say, what if you could increase the number of times they buy from you? Think about it like this. If you could find a way to get just 25% of your current customers to buy 5 times from you instead of just once, your total annual revenue would double. But most business owners focus solely on generating more leads instead of finding ways to get their current customers to spend more money with them. But here's what every small business owner needs to know and understand. It's known as the 80-20 rule. And here's how it applies to small business owners. 20% of what small business owners do every day actually produces 80% of their total revenue. Let me say that again. 20% of what small business owners do every day actually produces 80% of their total revenue. In other words, there are only a few things that generate the vast majority of the revenue we make each day. Now, what difference would it make in your business if you could discover what makes up that 20% that all of us should focus on. Well, that's what I want to share with you today. There are just 5 critical areas that every small business owner must focus on in order to build a multi-million dollar business. Those are leads, conversions, transactions, pricing, and profit. Let me say them again. 5 critical areas: leads, conversions, transactions, pricing, and profit. Now, over the next several minutes, I'm going to use specific numbers to illustrate exactly the importance of those 5 areas. So in order for you to double your profits and create exponential growth, you have to start with a baseline. That means you have to know your current numbers in each one of these critical areas. Do you know how many leads you're getting every year? Do you know how many of those leads are being converted into customers? Those are your baselines. So you first need to work out exactly where your numbers are right now. Once you have them, you can work out what you need to do in order to double those profits and make sure that you spend your time doing what you should be doing. So let me give you an example. I'm going to use some easy round numbers so that hopefully they'll make sense. So I'm going to start with the critical area of leads. Let's say your current baseline is 1,000 leads per year. Your conversion rate is 25%. That means that out of every 4 people that sit in front of you, 1 of them agrees to buy from you. So that means you convert 250 of those 1,000 leads into customers. Now let's also assume your number of annual transactions per customer is 10. So each of your 250 customers buys what you sell 10 times a year. Now let's further assume your average price is $100. So your 250 customers are buying a $100 product or service from you 10 times a year. That equals a total annual revenue of $250,000. Don't you wish you could pocket all that? No, unfortunately, you can't. You have to subtract out all of your expenses, things like rent, mortgage, salaries, marketing, cost of goods, and so on. Now, taking all of those into account, let's assume your profit margin is 25%. So, of the $250,000 in sales, you're only left with a profit of $62,500. So our goal now is to find a way to increase each of these 5 critical metrics for your business. So let's start with leads. Now, did you know there are 30 separate and distinct strategies that can dramatically increase your leads? And they're all field tested. They're all proven to work. In this presentation, I'm going to share just one. One of the most effective and powerful ways to generate leads today is through a targeted direct mail campaign. A campaign means multiple mailings, since a single mailing seldom produces positive results. Unfortunately, most business owners never attempt a direct mail campaign because of the expenses that are involved. But let's take a look at that. If you know that one new customer brings you $100 10 times a year, then you know you'll make $1,000 from each new customer you generate through this campaign. So suppose you decide to test direct mail. Let's say you elect to initially mail to 25,000 prospects. Well, you can send direct mail today for around 60 cents each. So 25,000 prospects at 60 cents each means you're going to invest $15,000 for that mailing. A typical response is around 4%. So that response rate produces 1,000 new leads. And if we stick with our original 25% close rate, then we know we're going to get another 250 new customers who each bring us $1,000 of revenue for a total of $250,000. And if your profit margin is 25%, then your profit is $62,500. So you've obviously made substantial money from this campaign. Again, you made $62,500 from the campaign. It cost you $15,000. You can do the math to see the profit that you've made. But now consider this. One of the strategies that I teach my clients allows them to execute a direct mail campaign to as many homes as they want to target and do it for free. All of this strategy requires from the business owner is a minimal amount of their time. That probably sounds too good to be true. However, marketing is an infinite subject, and we're only limited by our imagination and our experience. Now, one of the great advantages I have of being a marketing strategist and being a student of marketing across multiple industries, is that I see solutions which are normally hidden to people who only operate in a single business model. Think about it this way. If you're a building contractor and you've been operating in that space for 25 years, how could you possibly know all the ways that a dentist in Australia markets his business, or a car dealer in Japan? You see, experienced business coaches bring an outside perspective to their clients, and these fresh insights give their clients the ability to outperform the competition, and in most cases, to completely dominate their market. So, what if I could show you how you could double your number of leads using a networking strategy? Or how to implement a no cost yet highly effective referral program? Or how to set up a lucrative strategic endorsement partnerships where other business owners sell your product or services on your behalf? Or perhaps you would like to use a presentation strategy where you host an online presentation highlighting what you do using a webinar or a teleseminar. Or how about a comprehensive internet marketing campaign using Facebook or LinkedIn? You see, these strategies are just a drop in the bucket when it comes to helping you generate all the leads your business can handle. But let's pause for a moment and let me ask you this. Whichever one or more of these strategies you elect to use for your business, do you think you could conservatively generate at least 10% more leads by using them? Now, that certainly sounds reasonable, doesn't it? So again, let me apply this to the example that I shared earlier. So instead of generating 1,000 leads per year, that was our original number, would you say that conservatively, using these strategies that I've already mentioned, you could easily generate just 100 extra leads a year, or just 2 leads a week? That'd be 1,100 leads total per year. And remember, that's leads, not customers. So think about this. Have you ever met a real estate agent at a networking event? You know, when you ask them what they do, so many of them just simply say something like, oh, I sell real estate, I'm a realtor, whatever. Well, that's not very compelling, is it? In fact, when a prospect hears that, they basically think, so what? There's nothing there to make me want to engage with that agent. But real estate agents like to network. So let's say an agent goes to a networking event and proclaims to everyone they meet, I sell real estate. And let's assume that for every 10 people that hear that agent say that, one person becomes interested and wants to talk to them about possibly selling their home. But now, consider this. Instead of telling people, I sell real estate, suppose they said this: I help families buy homes larger than they thought they could afford. Or perhaps they could say this: I can sell any home for top dollar within 29 days. And if I don't, I sell that home for free. Now, out of every 10 people that hear one of those statements, how many of them do you think might respond now? I would think anyone even remotely thinking about buying or selling a home would want to know more from that agent. But let's stay conservative and say that just 2 now respond to them. That's a 100% increase in leads just from changing one sentence coming out of their mouth. So my question now is this: with 30 powerful and proven lead generation strategies available to help small business owners generate more leads, would you agree that just a 10% increase in leads is an ultra conservative figure? I hope you agree. So that's leads. Now let's tackle the second critical area, conversions. Your conversion rate is where a prospect becomes a customer or a client. They agree to buy what you sell. This simply means you found a way to compel their decision-making process so they choose you over your competition. So what if we could help you convert your leads and close the sale at a rate that's just 10% more than what you're doing right now? For example, what if I could teach you how to write powerful marketing and advertising copy along with persuasive sales scripts, and have you write all of them better than 95% of the copywriters who are alive today? And then what if your copy was so compelling and so persuasive that it would position your business as the only logical choice for your prospects to buy from? Not only that, but suppose I could give you a strategy that would teach you how to add so much value to what you sell that you could charge even more than your competition charges, and your prospects wouldn't think twice about paying you that amount? And what if I could teach you how to completely eliminate any barriers to entry for your prospects, and how to create irresistible offers that practically force your prospects to buy from you? And perhaps most important, what if I can hand you an entire drip campaign for your prospects who don't initially buy from you? Well, what's a drip campaign? A drip campaign is a series of follow-up communications, usually email or direct mail, that continuously nurtures your prospects until they're finally ready to make the purchase. Did you know that the typical prospect doesn't buy until they receive a minimum of 6 marketing messages from you? Now, if you're in business today, are you currently sending out a minimum of 6 follow-up messages to your current prospects? If you're not, you could be leaving a fortune on the table. So now the big question, with all those conversion strategies working for you, would you agree it would be easy to increase your conversion rate from our original 25% to perhaps 35%? That's actually very easy to do. But as we did with leads, let's keep our numbers ultra conservative. Would you agree that conservatively you would have no problem whatsoever increasing your conversion rate a meager 10%, from 25% to 27.5%? Again, I think that's too conservative, but let's use that low number right now anyway. So now we're converting 25.5% of our 1,100 leads. That's a total of 302 clients. Remember, we started out at only 250 customers, and now we're at 302. But let's not stop there. Let's move on to the third critical area, and that of transactions. Let's increase our number of transactions. Let's implement a series of strategies that will compel our clients to buy from us more often. Let me start with a real-life example. I spoke with someone last week who got their carpets cleaned in his home. He had the company come and clean just 4 rooms, and he paid them, I don't know, somewhere around $150, $175. And that was the end of the transaction. There was no process in place to try to get my friend to do business with them more often. All the crew chief said to him was this: hey, if you have any friends that need their carpets cleaned, please let me know. Now, my friend told me he hadn't had his carpets cleaned in over 2 years, and they really needed it. So what do you think he might have done if the crew chief had suggested that he enroll in their gold program and that they would come and clean their carpets 3 times a year at a special price? Now, my friend, he knows that he's going to have his carpets cleaned again, but it doesn't mean he's going to choose this same company. In fact, truth be told, the only reason he used them over anyone else this time was that he found a Groupon. Now, he didn't know this company from a hole in the wall, but now that he's hired them, they had the opportunity to get him on the hook for at least 3 cleanings every year. Quite a big difference from coming once every 2 years, isn't it? And if using that strategy just gets 1 in 3 people to sign up for that offer, then the company just doubled their sales. Now, that's just one example. Let me share another. How about a florist? You know, most guys buy flowers for their girlfriends or wives once a year, if that, usually Valentine's Day or something like that. So suppose we could teach a florist how to set up a continuity program called Lover of the Year, Husband of the Year, whatever, where a guy, he could go into a florist shop once a year and select a pre-arranged package of flowers, gifts, and cards, each targeting a special date that calendar year for his wife or his girlfriend. In other words, the package would include such things as Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, a birthday, an anniversary, and perhaps one special day, out of the blue, just thinking of you day. Now, each package the guy selects would include a specific floral arrangement that fits each occasion, a special gift that his girlfriend or wife will treasure forever, and a romantic card containing a special handwritten message. And all of this could be chosen there in the florist shop in about 20 minutes. Now, the florist will guarantee to deliver each arrangement on the appropriate dates. In fact, they'll even send an email reminder to the guy the day before the special day so that he doesn't forget the occasion. and to confirm that each delivery is going to be made on time. Now, the florist could also finance the entire cost of the program over 12 months and charge the guy's credit card to set him out each month to make this program an affordable no-brainer. Most guys would love this because the entire year is planned out in advance. They don't have to make that typical last-minute dash to the store to pick up something for each occasion. Now, do you realize this florist just conditioned this client to buy from them 5 times per year instead of once? And do you think this one guy will tell 4 or 5 of his friends about this unique program? Of course he will. Did you know that a version of this strategy can be adapted to work for almost any business and industry? I can show you how to implement this strategy for almost any business on the planet. So, what's the impact then on our original business that we've been talking about? Well, looking back to our original numbers and remaining ultra conservative, could we assume it would be fairly simple to use strategies like this to easily increase our original 10 visits each year to just 11 visits? Again, that's an ultra conservative 10%. So now we're going to have 302 clients paying us 11 times a year versus 10 times. And at $100 a visit, that's $332,200 instead of $302,000, an increase of $30,200. Are you beginning to see why I referred to this earlier as exponential growth? Okay, but again, we're not going to stop there. That's just 3 of the critical areas. Let's look at the 4th. Let's consider price. What if I could help you implement a series of targeted strategies that would allow you to instantly increase your sales price with no effect whatsoever on your conversion rate? Did you know that price is one of the least understood components when it comes to small business ownership? Let me explain this in very basic terms. And for those of you that are small business owners, pay very close attention to what I am about to say. This will be a major revelation for you. Suppose you sell a product for $100 and the net profit on that product is 25%. That means that after you pay the rent, salaries, commissions, cost of acquiring the product to resell it, the utilities, and everything else that goes into your business, you only get to put $25 out of that $100 into your bank account. So what would happen if you increase that price by just 10%? Do you realize that that additional 10% is pure profit? Typically, there are no additional expenses that have to be factored into determining your net profit. In fact, your net profit just increased from $25 to $35. That means your profit on this one product just increased a whopping 40%. Now, perhaps you're asking, but is increasing my pricing really feasible? You know, in all honesty, most business owners I know lay awake in bed at night trying to figure out ways to lower their prices so that they can be more competitive. So the question becomes, how can you increase your prices and get away with it? Well, there are 2 key methods here that will allow you to do just that, and they go hand in hand with each other. The first is you have to add more value, and the easiest way to do that is through bundling. Bundling is where you take various products and services and put them together to create a new, higher priced offering. You know, you see this all the time on infomercials, where they wow you with the versatility and convenience of their product. And then they add everything, including the kitchen sink, to create the perception of massive value. Watch those those infomercials. I'm having a hard time talking here all of a sudden. Watch those infomercials when you see them on TV. And you'll see they all follow the same exact bundling formula, including at the end. Remember, but wait, that's when they make their offer a complete no-brainer by saying that they will send you 2 of their products for the same price as one. The George Foreman Grill, Nutrisystem, the Snuggie, ShamWow, the list is endless, but they all use bundling to increase the perceived value, and they make a fortune doing it. The other factor is to explain the reason why you're increasing your prices to your customers. If you say to them, I had to increase my prices by 10% because of X, Y, and Z, more often than not, they'll let you get away with it. But here's another revelation for all of you small business owners. The easiest and fastest way to increase your prices is to increase your prices. Yep, you heard that right. Simply raise your prices, say 10%. Here's why. Most small businesses compete on price. So increasing their prices has never been an option, much less a consideration. That's because they have never considered the facts when it comes to increasing their prices. For example, let's say a business sells a widget for $100 with a profit margin of 30%. If they discount their price by just 10% to $90, they must now sell 50% more widgets just to get back to their original profit margin. Honestly, does any business owner today really think that a measly 10% discount is going to generate 50% more sales? And if you look at business owners, most of them are offering discounts ranging from 25% to 50%, and then they wonder why they're going broke. But watch what happens when you increase your pricing. Let's say a business charges 10% more for that widget. That would make their price $110. Now ask yourself this question. Will that small increase really lead to a loss of customers? Well, probably not. Unless the business offers a basic commodity with many other competitors nearby offering the exact same thing at the lower price. And then it's basically convenience and not price that comes into play. But even if it does lead to customer attrition, to what extent? With that 10% price increase, the business is now making an additional $10, all of which is profit. That's a 33% profit increase. For this business to make $1,000 in profit selling their widgets at $100 each, they would need to sell 33.3 widgets. I wonder what you do with a 0.3 of a widget. Oh well. But by increasing their price by 10%, now they only need to sell 25 widgets. So if they lose 8 customers because of that price increase, they're still breaking even. So that means, again, just to break even, this business would have to lose 25% of its customers over a measly 10% price increase. Friends, that just isn't going to happen. Of course, you always want to err on the side of caution. And so it's good to test the increase on a small scale to gauge the reaction. But trust me when I say that any customer attrition will be minuscule. So increasing the price of a business's products or services results in an immediate increase in revenue and profits. So looking back on our original numbers, if we increase our original $100 price point by just 10% to $110, our total revenue has increased from $332,200 to $365,420, an increase of $33,220. So we've talked about the first 4 of the 5 critical areas to create a thriving business. And so the last one, the 5th one, is profit. Everything we've discussed is basically worthless if you aren't making a profit on each and every sale you make. I can teach you ways to slash your costs without affecting your day-to-day business operations. For example, I can show you how to use the art of barter to significantly reduce or completely eliminate many of your everyday expenses. You've got accounting, bookkeeping, printing, advertising, office supplies, and other everyday business expenses that can be dramatically reduced or possibly eliminated by following our barter strategies. Do you also realize that you can see a huge increase in your profit margins just by properly identifying and then targeting your ideal client? This ties into that 80-20 rule we discussed earlier. In this case, it refers to the fact that 20% of your clients generate 80% of your total profits. If you can replace the 80% of your low margin clients with more of the 20% high margin group, you will see your margins explode, sometimes as much as 16%. Now, another example has to do with separating your business from your competition. by becoming unique in what you do. Setting yourself apart from the herd creates a massive competitive advantage that can skyrocket your profit margins. As an example, I know of a business owner who used to manufacture more than 1,000 different types of ceramic tiles and accessories. And he voluntarily discontinued 80% of his products, focusing his sales and development efforts on only those products that gave him a competitive edge. And the result has been a rebirth of his company, where he doubled his profit margin and increased his sales. So let's assume you implement just one of these strategies. And keeping our numbers ultra conservative, let's say your profit margins increase just 10% and go from 25% to 27.5%. So we now go from our original profit figure of $62,500 to $100,490. So now we have over $100,000 in profit. We've almost doubled our profits, which was our original goal. Not too bad, huh? And we're not talking major changes here either. These are small, incremental changes that barely cause any disruption to your current business. Any business owner can do this. Now, at this point, you may be asking, is there some way I can take advantage of this information? The team I work with has created a complete online small business coaching platform that can not only double or triple your profits, but it can create exponential growth for any business, starting today. When you use all of our tools, resources, and templates, along with the powerful audio and video training that we make available to you, you will immediately begin to see results exactly like the ones that I've discussed here today. Now, if you're like me, and I hope you are, you're probably a bit skeptical, and you're wondering if I can actually prove this to you, prove it in advance that it actually works. Well, the answer is yes, of course. In fact, I'll prove to any small business owner that this works by offering to provide ways to put a large sum of money directly into your pocket, and I won't charge you a cent to do it. You will invest just 45 minutes of your time with me, and I will find you a minimum of $10,000 of extra profits hidden in your business, guaranteed. I know that sounds too good to be true, but I assure you that finding more than $10,000 for any small business owner is mere child's play. In fact, when I do these $10,000 challenges, as I like to call them, I typically find well north of $100,000 for these clients. I can do that because my partners and I have worked with thousands of business owners all over the world. And we've discovered that none of them are applying these very simple and easy business growth strategies that can unleash tens of thousands of dollars in hidden revenue in just a matter of minutes. So, give me just 45 minutes of your time. And using just 3 or 4 simple growth strategies, I'll find you a minimum of $10,000 hidden in your business without you having to spend an extra cent on marketing or advertising. Now, there is a catch, because I do want something in return for my time to do this. I'm currently writing another book that documents the process I use to find people more than $10,000 for their small business. And my publishers just asked me to get 12 additional case studies to place in my book that officially documents my ability to find that type of money for any business in any industry. So all I'm asking of you today is, in return for the service that I'm offering, allow me to use your results as a case study in my book. And this may be important for some of you. I don't have to use your name or the name of your business in the event that you prefer me not to. I can simply list your profession and leave off your name and the name of your business. My main interest is to document your actual results and nothing more than that. And here's great news. You don't even have to meet with me in person to take advantage of this offer. I can do this just as easily over the phone. So it's totally convenient for those of you who would like to participate. So if you're interested in putting an extra $10,000 or more into your pocket for spending less than 45 minutes speaking with me over the phone, just go to my time trade calendar, where you can select a day and a time that's most convenient for you. Okay, get a pen. Here's the address. It's www.timetrade.com/book/NV7B I'll give all that to you again. First of all, Time Trade is one word, TIMETRADE. And so the address again is www.timetrade.com/book NV7BH. That's November Victor 7 Bravo Hotel. Well, that's it. You select a day and time that's most convenient for you. I'll call you on that day and time. And in case anyone's wondering, this meeting won't be a sales call. There's not going to be any selling whatsoever during a conversation. I'm going to focus strictly on finding you additional revenue and profits. So if any of this is of interest to you, go to my Time Trade calendar, choose a day and time that's best for you, then start figuring out where you'd like to spend all that additional revenue that I'm going to unlock for you. Again, that address is www.timetrade.com/book November Victor 7 Bravo Hotel, NV7BH at the very end. Thanks again for joining me today. I look forward to speaking with you soon.